How's it going, my beautiful people? Getting real creative here with the space that we film in. Okay, I will go through this surely in a bit. Alright, there we go. The most common question I get on my channel, first being my makeup. A second is, do I carry? By this they mean a pistol. And the third is how I film myself. Well, the first one, I sort of showed a couple clips here and there about how I pack my wash bag and clips of me doing makeup. I don't think that's really necessary, but yes, I do my own makeup, which is sometimes can be a disaster. The second, I am currently in Canada. Carrying a pistol is not allowed by law. You can only carry a pistol in between your home, gun club, gunsmith, and gun range. So it is not an option to carry a pistol, which here is called a restricted firearm, as a form of self-defense. So that is a no. We do have the option of unrestricted, which in this case a shorty shotgun will be enough. Whereas the third one, how I film myself, which I believe deserves its own video, because there are quite a lot of ways that I use, and I find it could be beneficial to some of you who want to start your own video making. I won't even call it a channel because it's just overall really nice to keep it for your own memory in the future as well, if you were to film your trip all along. So this week I will show you, I'll list you all of the common ways that I use to film myself when you are alone. This applies to when you're alone. Obviously when you have someone with you, it's way easier to have a helping hand to get the scene rolling. And show you some of the behind the scene, the clips that never makes the cut, all of my dirty little secrets. So when we talk about making a video for a trip, the most common I've seen, or at least I started with, is just literally a GoPro on a dash, on the windscreen, filming everything that you've driven past, or the road in front of you. I still use this method. A lot of people still use this method, but you know, your bonnet, your hood covers half of the road. You don't really see exactly the detail, what are the bumps and stuff on there. It does show you maybe the landscape wide up in front of you. So the quickest way is you mount your GoPro on a suction cup sort of thingy, and then just put it on your windshield and have it roll of the scene in front of you. And sometimes after a while I find I want to film, yes, what's in front of me, but if it's something interesting, I want to show my reaction at the moment too. And then in that case, if it's just filming towards outside, I can't see my face. You can hear me, but it's not as exciting, right? So in order to sync both sides at the same time, I have a GoPro Max for that purpose. Where you use this is essentially a 360 camera, so you will film a file that you will need to later on convert. Just beware, don't use the 360 function way too often. It creates a file that's really big. It's really taxing on your computer when you later editing it. In this case, where it will just show the screen towards me, and I can see I can film both the scenery in front of me and myself in the same time, and extra, because it shows all around. The downside though about this, if I put it this way with the windscreen, and sometimes when I show this side on the seam where they clip these two clips together, they don't really line up that perfectly. It's a little noticeable if you really look into it, but for what it does, it's pretty good. At times when it's really sunny outside, especially when it's snowing, so it's all white and reflecting all of the light, when they combine the file together, it sort of doesn't really know what white balance to go with. You get an overexposed outside and a really underexposed inside. It takes a lot of time to correct it in post. In some situation, I've had trouble to pull the overexposed back down, but you know, just the ups and downs of these. You can also use this as, oh Jesus Christ. You can also just use that as a normal GoPro. The resolution is not as good, and the color depth is not really ideal, so only use it for 360 purpose. I haven't tried other 360 camera. I think this one called Insta360. I don't know if it gives the same issue in terms of the lighting with both sides. If you've tried, let me know. So that's inside. Obviously, you can use the suction cup wherever on the outside of the vehicle as well. A little higher up angle or on the side to show your rims. And then the second, also another most common one, is selfie mode. When filming in selfie mode, you quite self-explanatory. Just hold your camera towards yourself and talk to it and maybe show something behind you. In this case, I pretty much just grab whatever closest to me and most accessible to me. Sometimes it's just my phone. I use the wide angle one and just turn it around and hoping that my face is not covering much of it behind me, because when it's wide angle, you can pretty much be sure that your face is in it. Or sometimes I use a GoPro. I have a tiny tripod like this, so if I want to just put it somewhere too, I can do that as well, or I can just hold it and talk to myself. Sometimes I do find using GoPro, you might have heard in some of my clips too, when I twist my hand on it, you can hear it. I do have a selfie stick that you can extend up, but I don't really think I use this much because the GoPro is already wide angle enough. Yeah, that's another option. But if I'm not in a rush to catch a scene, I have a bit more time, I will set up the gimbal. You guys are, well, the camera is on gimbal right now, so you guys are on my gimbal right now. And just film myself with the camera. The quality is much better, I would say, on a camera, but even with my wide angle lens on there, I believe we're at 17 mil right now. It's still a little too close. If I'm on a mid-range lens, my face will probably be like taking the whole scene and I'll be talking like this, and I don't really want that. So just a bit of a downside and why I tend to use GoPro or my phone's wide angle lens most of the time for selfie mode. Another downside about my gimbal, or I guess my camera, is that I use a Sony a7 III and the back screen flip up, but it doesn't flip over, so I can't see myself when I'm looking into the lens. Say for example right now we're stationed, I can connect it to my iPad. Actually, I am looking at it from here. I can see, make sure I am in frame. I have a tiny bit of solution with that. I got this little gadget from Amazon. It screws onto the coat shoe and it's essentially a mirror at 45-degree angle. So when I film myself, flip the screen behind to horizontal to the ground, and I can sort of see myself from there. And then I can still screw my mic on top like so. It's not really ideal because when I look into it, I need to be at a certain angle as well. And then point 3 is filming yourself driving. Have you had a time where someone else is driving your car and you just see it driving past and you just feel, wow, that looks so sick? So this is basically what it's going to do for you. Get a tripod, set it up and drive it past, stop somewhere or reverse it back, grab your camera back. Basically, that's what I've been doing the whole time when people are asking how do you film yourself driving. You double back. That's literally what you have to do. Sometimes when I find the road in front of me looks nice or the background could be a really pretty scene, I stop the car and set up my tripod in front of me, click record, run back to the vehicle, drive past, come back and grab the tripod. Where in that case, you will end up with a static shot. So this is where you use that 4K function on your camera if you have it. And because I edit in 1080, so I am able to add a zoom in movement within the shot itself to mimic a camera movement as if my camera was moving with the vehicle. This is what you will see most often, as well as my point number 4, static drone shot. Most of my drone shots were actually just flying it up, put it somewhere where I see, oh, there's a road, background looks nice, I will drive past it, click record, and start driving. It's filmed in 4K, so in post, I'll either trace my vehicle's route or just add a zoom in or zoom out as if the aircraft was flying in or out. So far, that's what I find the safest. Point number 5, another drone tip is I do sometimes try to fly the drone as I'm driving. I don't really promote this because you're technically distracted. I only do this when in very wide open straight road and then the aircraft is above me, high above the tree line, not obstructed by anything. I would try to drive and press my finger on the joystick to control the aircraft to fly forward only. Sometimes it tend to go off track and then push me to the side and a bit more and then I'm out of the track, but I don't really do it as much comparing to just a static shot. In terms of follow me function, I will put that at 0.6. I have tried it. I don't really use it. I don't recommend it because I don't really think it's all that smart. It definitely had went into trees and stuff like that. I will only do it when it's in a wide open area where there's nothing that you can crash into, absolutely. And the most that it can do is lose you as a target to follow, which it often does. I've tried it in my trip when I went into the canyon where there's no tree all around me, wide, flat, open area. I was driving this way and half the drone filming me backwards. I thought it would just follow me as the drone back up, like so, but it somehow did a weird thing that it turned around and followed my vehicle and went that way. It turns out to be a really cool shot, but not really what I was after. So really just the old, simple way, steady shot, that would do for me for now. So yeah, here you see it does take a lot of time and effort to double down, stop, sit up, go, stop, pack up, and go again. It probably double if not triple your time on the same track. That's why I tend to actually film more when I'm alone because I'm not always, radioing people, hey, let's stop, I want to get this shot, and people in the back of the car will be like, what's happening, what am I waiting for? It's not for everyone, obviously, and that's why when I'm alone, I can really just take my time, take everything in, record more to have more to look back to. It's totally a personal preference, and when I'm out there with my friends, I just enjoy it and enjoy the moment and remember the moment as is. Maybe snap a few photos here and there with my phone, but nothing really serious of, hey, stop, lighting, camera, now go, right? You're out there just enjoying nature. Whereas I have been on, say, last summer, been on to group trips where a main purpose was to film trip videos for promotion of a local shop. And in that case, we actually have FPV drone pilot flying as we were driving and everyone on the radio of like, now let's go around this speed, how much distance. It's a whole sort of intermediate level of production, I would say. Downside of filming yourself, it's you are missing on a lot of more technical angle. Say when I am filming other people driving, I can obviously focus on wherever the vehicle is going, showing more of the cool shot, how the tire squeezes and how the wheel lifted, those sort of things. I can't really get it as easily with yourself because you have a camera that doesn't move itself. So there you have it, the 6 ways I film myself on the road. Just to recap, first is to have a GoPro on dash to film. Second, selfie mode, whatever camera you have. Third, tripod is your friend. Put your camera on, set it up, drive, pack it up. 4 is your drone, hover, and film yourself drive. 5 is carefully try to maybe control your drone as you're driving on a wide open straight line. I do not recommend this. 6, your drone's follow me mode. Again, don't really recommend it unless you're at a wide open road with nothing to crash into. And remember, try to film in 4K as much as possible. So when you're editing in 1080, you have more room to move around to mimic a camera motion. That's basically all of my dirty tricks. Okay, after all of that serious stuff, I will update on what's happening with LTA and what's happening with the issue that I've had on the track. So on the trail, we lost our speedometer. The car goes, but there is no light on the dash to indicate what gear I am in, or there's no speed indication. And without speed input, I'm not getting any odometer mileage. And then the vehicle sort of don't really know what gear it is on. Whenever I press on the gas, the car just like oomph and want to go because it doesn't know what gear it's on, and there is no downshift. So it turns out we had a burnt fuse in the same circuit as the PMP switch, which is park neutral position switch, and the reverse light. I learned something new too. So this is your PMP switch on your transmission. You see all these pins, depending on what gear you are in, there's different combination of pins giving out different resistance. This is giving me intermittent resistance, so we changed the PMP switch. Luckily, we can get source parts here. This cross with foreigners in the North American market, so not really a big problem with me to source it. Burnt another fuse after a new one, so obviously it's something else. Changed the reverse light bulbs too because I had aftermarket on them from a long time, which I don't really think does any difference because I've had them since the beginning of having this vehicle. Turns out it's just really dumb issue. So remember my reverse camera stopped working a couple days ahead? Turns out that was already a sign of something failing. My reverse camera was wired to my reverse light so that it triggers when I put the vehicle on reverse. So what happened was the wiring went through my tailgate, that the hole was a little too tight and rubbed off the rubber. And with that, whenever you shift through reverse, it can potentially ground. And that's what happened on the very last day. So rewired it. At least it's not a huge transmission job. I would be so pissed. But you know, things like that, electrical things really. I mentioned so many times about how I am really iffy about electrical because I don't know much about it, and a hack job can give you so much headache. Anyways, we still got AC to fix. The clunking noise might come from my lower control arm ball joint. We have changed the ball joint last fall, so it shouldn't be the ball joint itself, but maybe when we changed it, the ball joint socket was not perfectly round anymore. So when I washed the car and left it to dry, the whole car was dry already, and put it on the hoist, lifted up. Now our wheels are droopy and created a little bit gap, and all those ball joints are leaking water, so the water has been pulling inside the socket, so that's what we think might be the problem. With that, I do have a plan to put in a whole new suspension, so maybe we'll do that in the same time since we're renting on it anyways. So that's that. And in terms of the tub I am in right now, this is my second row seat. Should have done this way earlier. There's just so much space. I don't carry people anyways. Why do I keep second row seats? And now I have all this chunk of space. I've been thinking of making a platform that line up with my rear drawers and then hinge it this way. However, previously what I've done is I used these blue water jugs that lay down the same height as my rear drawer. So I've been just using the water jugs as a platform extension, because if I now put a shelving here, the space below will not fit that water jug anymore. So just some thoughts that I haven't really think of what to do with. If I still go with my original thought of the shelving, I might need to change the water jug, which I don't really know. It itself is already quite a standard size and might need to be a special ordered. And do I really need to go all that route? I just want it to function, and so that we can go. I don't really want to spend so much money to make it, you know, a show car again. I want to keep it the same height as my drawer so I can clear that side and still sleep on it, like I used to. So feel free to show me your setup, you know, get some inspiration from all of your works. So yeah, I guess that's it for this week. I hope those tips are useful. Now you know all of the secret that I use. It's really not that difficult, just takes a bit of time and patience. So maybe next time I will see you guys showing me what you've created on your trips. Speaking of that, where are you going this summer? Let me know. Leave it in the comment below. I actually read all of your comments. I'll see you next time.